Oh yeah, it's the WC back with a brand new, all new, fresh up out the oven, straight up out the oven video, man. If y'all looking for my last video, be down in the description. If you missed that, go ahead, click on that. Make love to it. Make love to it. I know that y'all see the title of the video, man. This is a preview, of the NBA Finals 2013 version. Yes. First off, before I get into that, I definitely want to say that the Indiana Pacers definitely put up a great effort, but hey, the Miami Heat is going to be looking for that repeat, that two-peat, as we like to call it around these parts and these areas. And if you're an Indiana Pacers fan watching this video, you have a lot to be proud of, man. There ain't nothing to be ashamed of losing to a team that's probably going to take home the championship, man. I mean, You know, I I was one of those, many people that was skeptical of the Miami Heat coming into this game 7 where it was just like, who's going to show up, who's going to put up, who's going to shut up, who's going to do up, all those, different things. So if you're an Indiana Pacers fan, don't be ashamed cuz the Heat might go for a repeat. But anyway, like I said, it's a preview of the NBA Finals. I just want to go ahead and get right into it, man, because I don't like to waste everybody's time. Go ahead and get right into it, man. Um, just going down the line, man. Starting with the head coaches, man. Pop versus Spoelstra, man, and it's just like I'm going to give the advantage to Pop, man. I mean, he's got a what 3, 4 championships. He might even have more, more than that if he was an assistant before he became a head coach. But people talk about, Phil Jackson. I know it's not fair to compare, Phil and compare Pop, but I think that, he is on that type of level coach, man. I think that he gets the best out of Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and the rest of the Spurs, man. I think that he just gets the best out of these guys, man. I really do. And when you look at Spoelstra, he's a young head coach, very innovative. His offensive style is working, and people be like, okay, well, he has LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, so how much coaching can he really do? But when you look at these guys' games, these guys have egos. These guys, need to have certain amount of touches to feel important, and his system is working for the Miami Heat, man. But definitely when it comes to coaching, I have to give the advantage to Pop, man. Um, just from an all around standpoint, from that point of view. But now going into the starting lineup and starting with the point guards and everything, the point guard matchup, Chalmers versus Tony Parker. I have to get to check the Tony Parker. I mean, you know, I hate to use words like underrated. I hate to use words like overrated. And Tony Parker is neither one of the two. He's definitely, the total package when it comes to what you want out of a point guard. A guy that can get into the lane, a very good facilitator. He's one of those guys that, when you look at the total package of what a traditional point guard is, you look at a guy just like Tony Parker, and he's just getting better with age, man. I mean, he's just, people talk about Tony Parker like the guy, was almost going to be on crutches, like he's super old. Like they look at Duncan, I'll get to Duncan a little bit later. They'll say that he's super, super old, but I mean, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He'll be there after Pop, after Tim Duncan, after Ginobili. He'll still be on that squad, anchoring that team. So as far as like point guard matchup, and no disrespect to Chalmers, Chalmers has got Jay's jumpers. He's very elusive. He can hit that open three, but when it comes to the point guard matchup, I'm going with Tony Parker all day. Now, as far as the shooting guard matchup goes, the two guard. This could go either way. Now, I don't know if Manu Ginobili is considered more so of a shooting guard or a small forward or where you would put him in there, but Manu versus D Wade is just one of those situations where that's really a toss up. I mean, I think that any given night, one of those two guys, it's a push. I'll just say push. Any given night, those guys could take over and be the man on the court. I mean, at any given time. So that matchup right there, I think definitely in this finals matchup between the Spurs and the Heat is the matchup that everybody should definitely be watching out for, because those two guys could be the swing men in this series. Now, when you get down to you know the small forward position for both squads, I mean, I think that the small forward position is one of those X factor positions where it's just like, anybody can step into that position and make a difference. For the Heat, you have Mike Miller. He could come in and play small forward. They have a whole bunch of guys that could come off the bench and serve in that small forward position. I think that they had Bosch playing small forward, and then when you look at San Antonio, they can have Bonner come in and play a little bit of small forward. He's got his J. Um, Green and Leonard for the San Antonio Spurs coming out and hitting off those threes at the small forward position. So the small forward position is just one of those. It's a wild card position. Now, when you get down low to the trenches, this is where the game is basically going to be controlled and figured out through all the situation. Now, when you look at LeBron James, some people consider him more so of a small forward, but he's like LeBron is like so he's such of a problem to the point where you can't really give LeBron a position, a defined position. But in this situation, I'll just say small. I'll just say power forward slash guard type center. And when it comes to that whole situation, I still think that San Antonio has the check, man, just with the big fundamental down low with Tim Duncan, and and some people say um, Tim might be a little bit older, and I'm just like, hey, the brother can still average 20 and 10 on just about anybody. So I don't want to hear that older guy, talk. And they talk about Tiago Splitter, and him being in there, being a factor down low with his athleticism, and Boris Diaw for those Spurs out there. So the Spurs definitely have a good, a solid, um, down low post game, man. They're real versatile down there. They're not necessarily stationary. Like, no offense to anybody that's an Indiana Pacers fan, but Hibbert was a little stationary at times during the series, but he's a big body. And in this series, there's going to be big bodies, but just not as defined as Hibbert. Not a big, huge target. And if you want to consider, Tim Duncan to be a very big target, then okay, all right, yeah, whatever. Now getting into the keys for both teams to win this series. All right, I think that the key for the San Antonio Spurs is to make sure that they rotate the ball at all costs. These guys have to rotate. They have to rotate and rebound all day. I mean, their facilitation is just spot on, unbelievable. It was just like, I'm watching these guys against the Grizzlies and the open shots that they were taking. And, I mean, just all the shooters that they have. You give these guys open opportunities, they're going to make it. So, just facilitation, ball patience, and rebounding are the keys for the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. And for the Heat got to get out and run. I mean, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the league. And I'm not saying that they can't win this series through, playing half court, but they need to get out and run on these boys. They need to push the tempo, make Tim Duncan get up and down the court like they did with Hibbert. I think that Tim is probably a little bit more agile, a little bit more athletic. He can get up and down the court, but they need to be able to push the pace on the Spurs team and try to play a upbeat, up-tempo game. Get LeBron out in the space, get Wade out in the space, and see what they can really do. If they push the tempo, if they could force the issue of push the tempo and force San Antonio out of their the regulation half court offense. The Heat could take this real quick. But getting down to this, because it's hitting the 10 minute mark. My prediction for the finals is I'm gonna have to go. with the Heat in 7, man. I just see this as a very, very good series. It could easily be Spurs in 6, but I'm going with the Heat in 7. I think it's going to be a seesaw battle. Both teams is going to hold home court. You know, I think that Spoelstra is coming along as establishing himself as one of the top coaches in the league, but Pop has definitely got some tricks up his sleeve. And hey, I want to know what you guys think, man, down in the comments, man. I know it's a 10-minute video, but hey, at least I broke it down for y'all, man. It's the WC, man. Drop a like, like I said, drop a comment. Go ahead and wrap this up, man. NBA Finals preview. Y'all enjoy the series, and that's it.